Welcome back to How to Be a Better DM, the official podcast of Monsters.rent. I'm Justin Lewis.
And I'm Tanner Wayland.
And we are here to help you tell better stories for yourself and your players as you dungeon master sessions of D&D, Dungeons & Dragons. We'd like to give you some quick announcements. We actually have one before the show, and then after the show, if you want to stick around, we have some more announcements then as well. But first, let's talk about this. Tired of being alone? Are you tired of not having any of your players understand you? Are you tired of never truly belonging? Well, you're in luck. All you need to do is join the Guild. The Guild is a unique and exclusive experience that is only open to Dungeon Masters. It is a full community focused on helping ease your DMing burdens. Want to meet other DMs? Join the Guild. Want to discuss your homebrew ideas with people who would appreciate it instead of just telling your cat? Join the Guild. Want to find a place where all your wildest dreams will come true? Join the Guild. Go to monsters.rent/guild and sign up today for free. Wait, that can't be right. Chuck, can you check this again? Is this supposed to be... What? Oh, they're serious? It's free? Oh, okay. All right. Yes, go to monsters.rent/guild and sign up today for free, even though they are crazy for giving this away for free. Common side effects may include burping, sneezing, laughing, breathing, hearing, listening, tasting, farting, critting, sarcasm, and in extreme cases, explosive diarrhea. Awesome. With that out of the way, we can get into today's show. You find yourself walking through a forest. Your arms and hands are cold. It's then that you notice the terrible blizzard obscuring most of what you see. You try and wade your way through the deep drifts of snow forward, looking for a clear path to shelter. That's when you see the bear. This is one of the biggest bears you've ever seen, and it stands there in the middle of the path facing you, amidst a raging blizzard. It then turns and walks away. You stand frozen, watching it go. It stops and waits and looks at you as if to beckon that you follow it. You do. It leads you through the blizzard to a cabin hidden behind rocks and trees. As you move towards this cabin, you feel a hand on your arm. You turn and look and see your father, but he's been dead for years. He smiles and then grabs your arm and jerks you, pulling you to the side. It's at that moment that you awake from the mysterious dream, only to find yourself facing a black clad assassin whose blade has sliced deep into the bed on which you sleep, in the same spot your head had just been occupying moments before. What do you do? Welcome back to the second episode of How to Be a Better DM. I'm happy to have you here with me as we talk about different ways to create and present a better story to your players as you dungeon master a beautiful session of Dungeons & Dragons 5e. That excerpt was from the session I had in my campaign just this last week. That's just to show you that I do this too. I try every week to make better stories and to write better tales. So, hopefully you enjoy coming on this journey with me, and let's get right into it, into the meat of today's show. Let's talk about 5 things every DM should remember. These are things that have helped me, and I know that they should make your game easier too. Number 1, it should be fun. You're playing a game. It should be fun. If you as the DM aren't having fun, then you should switch some things up. Don't be afraid to experiment. If it's easier, use stuff that other people have made. You could look for improvements, simple improvements, and focus on what you and your players find to be most fun. If you guys like doing campaigns that are wacky and fun and rarely serious, then do that. If you guys like dark campaigns, then do that. If you find that planning sessions is way too stressful, maybe try spacing your sessions out so that way it's a less burden. If you can't think of anything, to put in your story, then ask your players or outside parties to give you suggestions. It's supposed to be fun, so if it's not, then you need to figure out why not and change that. Number 2, your players can improvise too. You're not the only one at the table who's responsible for making the game fun. You have a large responsibility because theoretically, you occupy basically 99.999% of the mythical world in which you and your players play in, but your players can definitely play a big part and add in making stuff up. Sometimes it's nice to ask your players the name of NPCs they meet, or towns they visit, or inns they sleep in. You don't have to come up with everything. Outsourcing is a great idea for things that you really don't care about. I literally did this in my campaign when I asked one of my characters, hey, that mentor that you had as a kid, what was their name in a specific part, rather than coming up with a name myself. Number 3, you don't need to know the ending of every story. Sometimes the funnest things happen when you introduce a plot hook that you haven't really thought through yet. I did this in my campaign where I introduced 4 groves of power that the druid in our group must save from some evil cultists. Did I know where these groves were? No. Did I know that how she'd find them? No. Did I think this was a cool idea? Heck yeah. So now the druid and the rest of the party are looking for an ancient underground library that will have an ancient tome describing how to find the powerful groves. Boom. That's an awesome story. Number 4, you won't know every rule. Remember that the player's handbook is a ginormous book. Maybe not ginormous, but it's still big. I'd be astounded if you had it memorized. So you don't need to know every rule. So just cool it, you know? You'll learn as you go and probably do something wrong. It's fine. It won't dramatically change the outcome of your story. And if it does, that's fine too, because we're all people. We can all laugh at things. Just chill. Number 5 is make the story your own. This is specifically for DMs who are using source books for adventures. Make sure to add things in there that are 100% yours. You're going to still follow the story in the book, but if you add things, your players and you will feel that you are getting a unique adventure, and that's going to make it more unforgettable. So add things that are yours, even if it's just a funny, wacky voice that's specifically you. So those are the 5 tips. Number 1, it should be fun. Number 2, your players can improvise too. Number 3, you don't need to know the ending to every story. Number 4, you won't know every rule. Number 5, make the story your own. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I hope you're having fun with your games. If you liked today's show or you have ideas for the future shows, reach out to me on Instagram at Geronimo Levis. Until next time, friends, go ahead and roll initiative. Thank you for listening to today's show. We really appreciate your support and your patronage. We have a few more announcements to go over. First,
did you ever fall in love with the library as a kid? It was a place where you could experience 1,000 stories without having to buy 1,000 books. That is what Monsters.rent can do for your D&D campaign. You can rent and swap out as many quality miniature monsters and creatures for your D&D party as you could ever want, without having to buy them. You can rescue villagers from a kobold camp, or lead your party through the fighting forest, or many more adventures. We're coming out with new bundles all the time. Just sign up for our subscription to get access to your own personal library of minis. Go to monsters.rent to find out more. That's the website. Monsters, with an S, .rent. Get your library pass to a world of minis today.
We also wanted to let you know that today's episode is sponsored by Stardust and Dragons. I'm going to let one of the cast of Stardust and Dragons, Christian Hatcher, and his crew tell you a little bit more about it.
This August, a new adventure podcast is coming to a platform near you, filled with action.
You one of the 2 of them. We can't keep taking hits like that.
Drama.
Everything that she's been doing, everything she's going to do, finally sets in.
And Stardust.
Help! Help! Someone, please!
Find out more about this epic odyssey at stardustanddragons.com, where adventure awaits in the stars.
That's all the announcements we have today. Again, thank you so much for everything you do for us. You make this show possible. Like we said before, we'll be back next week with another great episode, and until then, let's go ahead and roll initiative.